Hello, this is Gene. Got a little bit of sleep after WrestleMania. That thing was way too long. Nice to see that Becky won. Of course, it's not real, but it's nice to see that she won. Not really sure what I think about Kofi winning the WWE Championship. Um, I'm not really sure he deserved it, but it is just a storyline. Nobody really deserves it once or the other. Once you get into a position where you actually can affect change and people get behind you, then I guess you somewhat deserve it. He had about 3 weeks that he had somebody behind him. I don't know if that was enough for him to win the championship, but I digress. That doesn't really mean anything. That's just entertainment. I'm just here talking about something that happened a couple days ago. There was a Twitch stream that had Saga of Akkad, Nick Fuentes, Destiny, a few other guys, and during the stream, it went on for like 4 hours. And I thought that whoever the right side pretty much dominated the debate. The people on the left, Hassan Kuiper was on there, Piker, uh, uh, Yoger's nephew, I guess, and he just is not very smart. Anyway, afterward, they did a little Twitter poll, and most people voted the right side won. Now, again, I don't really think that Carl Benjamin is really right. He's like a classical liberal in on the British side that is kind of a little bit to the right. I'm a classical liberal. Um, he's also more woke in the areas that I talk about. He understands the plight of the white man in the West. But he's a different way that he would try to solve that, or not solve it at all, because he's more of a centrist. And then Nick is more on the right, side right, hard right. Anyway, there are people had to get online saying, I can't believe that Twitch is allowing these Nazis or these people in the alt-right to have a platform in this debate. So somebody put that out there, and I just responded very easily. I said that neither Nick or Carl and Benjamin or Sagan of Akkad are not in the alt-right. I mean, it's clear. They both disavow that name, and they're not in the alt-right. And then, of course, I had a lot of people coming back. And all these guys had little things that they're pro-Israel and all that stuff, and they wanted me to explain to me why those people are not in the alt-right. And I just try to be very civil and say they just aren't. You guys just need to relax. No, but that wasn't enough. Somebody had to go on my Twitter account and had to say, well, they're not in the alt-right, apparently, that I am, because of what I put on my Twitter. And this is my Twitter. And it says, 14 words are spoken here. So I let it just simmer for a couple days. I wasn't going to respond to that. It was interesting. I had a lot. This is probably the most mentions or any likes that I've had. I was talking about Charlie Cook when he was pretty much found out by somebody who's a part of AIM, identity movement there. And at the end of his little diatribe back to that person, he was very condescending to him. And a lot of people like that, which is rare for me. I don't get that much impressions on what I put on Twitter. And then also when I sat there and say that Nick and Carl is not part of the alt-right. But I am now, because I put on my Twitter profile that I'm willing to talk about the for 14 words. Anybody goes, I mean, I have my YouTube address on my Twitter thing. They can go to my YouTube channel and they can see what I talk about. And there are many times I'll say we in the same sentence. The alt-right will come up, and at the same sentence I'll say I'm not really sure what that means, because I just don't believe that this movement is not really political when it comes to right or left. It's just not, and I've said that many times on my channel. There's something more at stake than you're saying that, oh, you're on the right, so that means that since you're there with Sagan of Akkad, that I want to put everybody in ovens because you don't agree with what I believe in. And we know what happens here. I mean, I think Nick got banned from Twitch because he was on that thing. And we got Destiny last night in a Twitch stream. He was saying that conservatives should basically be taken out of this country. But that's okay. And again, I don't necessarily consider myself a conservative. I'm not a radical progressive anymore, and I did that other video a couple days ago. You can see the change that I've gone through. Now, again, I don't really give a shit what side of the political spectrum you're on. There's there's something much more important here. Either you have this idea that we're all just going to get through it all together, and it's not going to make a difference what we look like at the end, that our traditions are not going to have any sense whatsoever, that we never going to go back and like not glorify, but at least talk about our past, that the unique characteristics of your people will not be celebrated. If you're okay with that, you just want us all to be mixed around and there's no real tradition for anybody and we'll just move along through life without any God in our life or any rules or whatever, that's fine. Don't expect that I'm going to be your friend, but you know, if we just allow this political system to decide that way we're going to go, if you think at the end of that there's not going to be an awakening of some point, there's not going to be violence. And again, I don't know if I have to say it, but if I talk about what might happen in the future, that it might be violent, doesn't mean that I'm advocating for violence. I'm just saying it's possible and almost probable. Now, one of the greatest experiments, I guess you could say, or a theory or what, this idea that in a generation we've basically said that all white people can't be proud of what they are, and it's been hugely successful. So somebody like myself, I say the 14 words are spoken here. That triggers everybody, and it not only just on the left, but people on the right, and I worry about stuff like that. You know, when we leave here, I don't want my wife to get into a problem because somebody sees my Twitter and says, "Oh my God, you're living with a white nationalist," and I'm not a white nationalist, but I don't want her to be affected by that because she doesn't believe what I believe. She doesn't. I mean, when I knew her, when I first married her, she's more conservative than I ever was, and now she's almost socialist at this point, which I don't care. We don't yell at each other about it because she's not involved in anything. She just thinks that we should be able to help every people and not worry about stuff. And I just say that that's just not realistic. But anyway, so this experiment or this plan, people might say it's a plan, to basically tell all white people in the West that their heritage is problematic, that they shouldn't have anything to be proud about. You just cannot all of a sudden take that away from everybody. In one generation or two generations, you really think that's going to take away what's really deep inside? That if the real shit hits a fan, that we're not going to band together and do something about it. So I'm not sitting there saying that I want violence, because I think it's the result of what's going to happen. Because we'll never be woke enough or awake enough to make the right decisions when it comes to certain things. At some point, we're going to see what happens in Europe, and they'll say, "Oh, it's not really going to happen here," but it's really happening at a different level. And it's not going to be good. So when I talk about stuff like this, and when somebody sits there and says that somebody who's a paleo-conservative like Dick Fuentes is in the alt-right, it depends what you think what the alt-right is. If you think that Richard Spencer is the leader of the alt-right, he clearly isn't that. He avows him all the time. He thinks he's a fucking stupid ass motherfucker. So I don't think that he's into that. But does he talk about Jewish people on a show? Yeah, he does. Does he talk about he's against interracial relationships? Yeah, he does. That's probably a little bit further than I would go when it comes to that. I mean, I do talk about the Jewish influence on this channel. But it's just funny is that guys, this guy who's allowed to say I'm pro-Israel on his Twitter page, to say that I'm United States citizens, but I'm pro-Israel. But if I said I'm pro-white people having babies, somehow I'm the problem, and I'm the one that should be silenced. I can't have any platform because I want people like me to procreate. And of course, it's like everything else. It's like Black Lives Matter and All Lives Matter. Is there anything really wrong with any of those statements? There isn't. But in a lot of ways, if you say all lives matter, now you're being offensive to that movement of Black Lives Matter. So if I say that Jewish people have too much influence in this country, people who are pro-Israel is going to say, well, that's problematic to me and it's offending me, and that's anti-Semitic. And our own Congress basically said just questioning their influence in this country is now anti-Semitic. This is where we're going. And if you continually think that people are just going to have his head in the sand the entire time, they're not going to wake up and do this stuff. And I know exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to censor people that have this type of idea because they're worried that it's going to wake up more people. And people like Destiny and people on the left, a lot of people on the right too, want that to happen. They somehow think that by just censoring people like Fuentes, or even Sagan of Akkad, who's a centrist, almost a liberal in a lot of ways, that somehow is going to stop people from finding out the truth or changing their ideology. It's going to make it. Don't you know the thing that says that thing? Don't touch this thing. Don't touch this light. Don't do this. You know what we do as humans? Most of us touch that shit. So when you continually try to stop it from being seen, people are going to find out. And then when they go there, they're going to find people that are really radicalized. They're going to just push them down even further and further. And you think that in one generation or 2 generations, that they can make the white man hate themselves so much that we cannot turn it around in 5 or 10 years? If a certain type of events happen, it can happen overnight. You have to understand that we are born from this type of stock, that we defended our country, Europe, for 700-800 years against the Muslim invaders. Physically, we did it like generations after generations after generations because we knew what was coming. Now we basically allowed that to just run over us, and we got to wake up to that. And people are waking up. It may be too late. We may get breeded out of a power, but the idea to think that somehow that by somebody saying that I think that we should I can't say the words. It's a problem. To just be able to have the future for white people or white babies is somehow bad. It'd be fine if you said it for any other group, but if you say it as white people, that somehow that's bad, because you're looking at, it's like if I say that, you're looking at, because you have this bias that says, oh, you're like tied to people like the KKK thinking shit like that, or something that uttered these words before they went and did something. It's the same thing as if someone says Allah Akbar before they blow shit up. Is that everybody who studies Islam or like that? I mean, come on. I don't know. I don't know. Again, it's one of those weird things. And I put myself online. It's not that difficult to find me. So if somebody really wanted to, this guy went to my Twitter thing and had to take a picture of that, then shows that I'm a liar, because I don't know why. I just said he's not in the alt-right. I didn't say I was in the alt-right or not in the alt-right. I've said many times in my videos that the movement, people in the alt-right, we in the alt-right. However, I don't really understand what the alt-right really means, because it's just because you put a label there doesn't mean anything. My focus has always been we should be allowed to talk about this. And when we're not allowed to talk about certain subjects, then I start going down that rabbit hole and find out why is that. And almost universally, it's the same people that are behind it. And what Owen Benjamin says, it says, well, you just can't always blame the Jews, because they're like serving another master. So he talks about Satan and all that. And I don't know about that. And the people that are at the very end of it, that are pushing everything, they're the most ugliest people in the world, inside type of ugliness. And I'm not gonna say I feel sorry for them, but what they're pushing is just, when you really go down that rabbit hole, it gets you so upset. You want to back out so much, and then, but during this whole time, it's like after 9/11, because they'll tell us how bad racist we are in this country. If it was so bad, we would have been probably taking all the people who are Muslims and just lining them up and killing them, because we thought that all Muslims were part of this. And then we're going to do the same thing with black people if all we want is to have a wall, or maybe want to shut down the border and we're not going to have immigration for a couple of years. We're just going to kill all the Hispanics in this country. There may be fringe persons in any movement that might think like this, but that's not what we want to do. We want to defend the West, and the West was created by the people, our people. And if I say that I want black babies, if I want white babies to grow up and have a good life, and I want my women to be at home for the most part and raise those babies, somehow that's a bad thing now? It's not. It is what it is. So nice to see a dog coming down my, pushing in my damn bottom, whatever. So I don't know. You know, it's one of those things. Like I said, I let that go. I did respond, I think. I mean, it wasn't anything that great. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing here. Tweets. That didn't work. How about that? Yeah, he said that since I was a liar, because I guess he basically, I won the debate. He said that Nick is not in the alt-right, but since I'm a liar because I am, I said, kill me. I want my people to procreate. Change white to black in the saying, and everyone would celebrate. Because you believe those 14 words are now somehow problematic, that is your problem. That's all I really can say to people like this. I mean, again, it's like if you say all lives matter, now you're the bad person. Oh, you're forgetting about Black Lives Matter because you know it's important that they have value. Everybody talks about Black lives, all right? So if something happens that somehow affects a black man in this country or a white or black woman, it's like everywhere on the media, especially if a white man is around the area. So, not saying it shouldn't be talked about, but if I sit there and say that I think that the United States should be majority white, you may say that's racist. I'm going to say I don't think it is because we founded the country. You may say, well, we killed the Indians. I say, well, every other country that's ever been formed had the same type of battle. Whatever the indigenous population was taken over by an invader at some point. The Jewish people did in Palestine. I mean, at some point, we're just going to say this is all stupid, and all people should be able to protect themselves. Your homeland should be for you. If you have the idea and you want to be liberal and more progressive, and you want people to come in this country who will assimilate, that's fine. We don't have a really big problem with that. Most people in the alt-right don't have a big problem of it. Again, I'm not really in the alt-right. But when you see what's happening in Europe, and you're looking at the United States, and you're knowing that what your kids are going to deal with and their kids are going to deal with, all you can do is sound the warning. And then if we don't do anything about it, that's on us. At the end of the day, regardless of the influence that certain sects of Jewish people have in the West, it's really on us. And they all know this, and that's why they want to keep us down. They just think by just shaming us and shaping us and shaming us and giving us more pills. As you know, the opioid epidemic, the guys that basically make all this shit are the same fucking people. So, I mean, when you really get to it, if somebody was so radicalized, I mean, there'd be a lot of things going up. There'd be people in the streets, and a lot of people would say that they have reason to do what they're doing. And I'm saying that because I'm not. Because I still think that we have the ability to make a change. Non-violently, of course. But the idea that it's not going to happen in the future is foolish. So these people get on Twitter or people like Destiny will sit there and just talk so fast when you talk and think they're like Ben Shapiro because they want to talk, because they have to do it because if anybody has a time to sit down and actually look at the salient points on both sides, our points are clearly better and they're rational and they're logical. Why can't white people defend their future? When I say the 14 words, all I'm saying is I want to have the future for the children of the white people. That I just want to make sure that it's there, and I see it being taken away every day in the West. So that's basically it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Please share it. I don't know. Like I said before, we're gonna be moving in a while, and I don't really want this to affect my wife. I'll never get big enough. I don't think that it ever would, but it is one of the things that I worry about. So it's very possible in the future I might take that off my Twitter. Not because I'm bowing to the mob. I just don't want my wife to be affected by my personal beliefs. She doesn't believe what I believe. So, but somehow she's still with me because I think she knows deep down inside I'm not racist, and I've never been racist. And all the people that I've known over the years, whether they were black, Hispanics, Cubans, Panamanian, they would be definitely in my corner. And almost all of them, to a man and a woman, think that white people have the right to advocate for themselves. Okay, that's it. You guys have a good day, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.